Hi guys, I'm Enrica from Scuola di Boudoir and I am very happy to introduce you to Marissa from the boudoirdivas.com. We have asked her a lot of questions about boudoir photography and their job. So don't waste more time and enjoy the video.
Hello, Italy. Thank you so much for asking me to talk about boudoir. I absolutely love boudoir photography so much. I'm honored that you want to pick my brain about this amazing type of photography and the boudoir divas in general. It's very cool. So, thank you. Um, um, so, question one would be I have been shooting for almost 15 years. It blows my mind. In my head, I still feel like the young 20 something year old that started shooting in her parents' garage. But yeah, a lot of time has passed and so much has changed. Boudoir photography is something that's very well known here in the States now. When I started, that was not the case at all. So I don't know how it is over in Italy, but the more people that shoot boudoir, the more popular it's going to get and the more demand that there'll be for it. So believe it or not, having competition isn't always a bad thing. It just means that more and more people are learning about this kind of photography and will find you in your studio if that's something that you specialize in. So it's very cool. Um, I think that women today are far more open to being showcased in a sexier way. Maybe not necessarily to put it out there in the world. I think that it's just for us, what I'm discovering is while some women are excited to show their pictures, most want it to be private. Most just want the experience for themselves and for themselves to feel free and alive and kind of do something that is a once in a lifetime thing. And it just helps them get more in tune with their body. And so we're discovering that it doesn't have the stigma that it once had of being something like naughty or even being anything like porn or anything. Thank God it doesn't have that connotation anymore. I'm very grateful for that. And it's well, our studio, we try to focus on something that's a little bit more classy, a little bit more classic, romantic. While a lot of studios do, get a little wild with their poses and their boudoir pictures. I have nothing against that. It's just not who we are as a studio, and we kind of have this signature look that's very much us. Um, Boudoir photography definitely is its own genre here in the states. It's different than other types of photography. It definitely has its own category, and even at like our photography conventions and whatnot, it has its own teachers and definitely its own category for photo competition. So I will say that boudoir has come leaps and bounds from where it was 15 years ago, and I love seeing that. I love being a part of that, like we've been a part of it since it started to get attention again, and that's been really fun. Um, what's my opinion about Italian boudoir? I would love to get your guys' take on boudoir in Italy. First of all, I freaking love Italy so much. You guys are so lucky to live there. I imagine that Italy to me is a place of art and romance and definitely documenting history, whether it's your guys' amazing museums or sculptures or photography, paintings, all that. To me, it seems that Italy is so rich with just romantic art, right? So I think that boudoir fits perfectly in with that. I'm curious to hear if you think that Italy is kind of keeping up with boudoir trends. I don't actually know. I should go over there and check it out though. Again, I actually have been over there a few times speaking about boudoir in the past. Graphy Studio had me one time and my business partner Kimberly to speak about boudoir, and it seemed like there were a lot of you doing it. So I would love to hear how you all feel like it's going over there. So when it comes to a clear definition of boudoir style, to me, I used to answer this question differently. I used to be like, it's portraits, sexy portraits of a woman where she feels beautiful. Now these days, I don't really I don't really focus on a genre. I think like it is what it is, right? It's more about your brand. Like if you like the word boudoir, you can use that word in your branding and classify yourself as that type of photographer. I'm so sorry, you guys. I feel like I'm just giving a bunch of vague answers here, but I think that's where I'm at these days. Is like to me there is no clear definition of boudoir or glamour or portrait. I think that it's whatever you choose to use as your brand and whatever you gravitate towards as far as the verbiage and putting a name on what you do, that works. I think that the more that we get ourselves as artists out of these boxes that we've kind of constructed ourselves in, the more free we're going to be to create the art that suits us, and then therefore we gravitate towards, or actually we attract certain clients that are into what we specifically do. So I think it's important that we don't necessarily pay too much attention to exactly what other photographers are doing. It's fine to be inspired. It's fine to just see the direction they're getting in and maybe come up with ideas on your own as well. But more than anything, I think it's important to just be true to you and what you want to do and what you want to create for yourself, your brand, your art. I think definitely don't ever listen to another photographer's criticism. I think there's a place where we can have somebody critique us and be open-minded about that critique and look at how we can improve ourselves, but never ever read something online that, boudoir has to be this, or your photos need to look like this, or this person's doing it wrong because they're doing this. That stuff doesn't matter. And again, I say we're artists, right? So we get to do whatever the heck we want and say that it's our art. And people can say all they want, they can talk about it behind your back, but it doesn't matter because it's yours, right? So never get discouraged, and definitely never put yourself in a box as an artist and feel like you have to do it a certain way because people say that that's the way to do it. You're free. It's 2020. You can do what you want. You can make the art that you want. Okay. What should a professional photographer do in order to emerge and distinguish themselves? So if you want to kind of rise above the rest and distinguish yourself, I think your particular brand is really important. So I believe that your brand is how you showcase yourself and your art, right? So you're the artist and you have your art. Your brand needs to be something beautiful, and I think as I coach other photographers, so often I see that their brand is something that they're trying to wing themselves, meaning that they're trying to create their logo, put together ads, put together their website. And to me, that's what looks really amateur. And so if that's something in your area of expertise that you're great at, I think then great, you should do it yourself. But if you're not, I really think that it's important that you save up or kind of, invest in a graphic designer, in a web designer, somebody to help you put your brand out there, somebody to help you that you can kind of see your vision and what you like. I know right now I'm working on an episode called Marissa's World. That's one of my, every month I put out a new episode. Right now it's about branding and marketing. And I'm rebranding myself right now too in my brand. And I'm excited to hopefully after a couple weeks after this interview is posted, you can go to theboudoirdivas.com and see our new brand and what we're doing with all of our different divisions of my business. It's very exciting. So with that, I would say possibly work with a professional on that and just have something that rises above the rest. I mean, we are trying to be a real business here. I mean, I'm a real business. I'm sure you want your boudoir studio to be a real business. You have to consider, for us, they're spending anywhere from $700 to $2,000 with us, sometimes even more, like $5,000 if they're going on a trip with us. Like we're going to Greece soon, and they're spending a lot of money to do that with us. So my point here is like, my competition isn't necessarily the photographer down the street from me. My competition is wherever they might spend those thousands of dollars elsewhere. So they might spend thousands of dollars going on a really nice vacation, or maybe they're going to spend the thousands of dollars taking a course on something, or maybe they're going to spend it on, I don't know, plastic surgery or something. My point is that my brand should compete with the brand of the resort that they might go and spend those thousands of dollars at, right? My brand has to be that level. I guarantee that there aren't many resorts out there that are charging thousands of dollars where, you know, they didn't have a professional put together their brand and their image and their online presence, right? So that's something that's definitely worth investing in or taking a lot of time and care around that, because that's how people are introduced to you. That's how they come to understand who you are and what you do. So first impression is everything when it comes to your brand and your presence. And this is 5 about, is it useful to study and analyze other photographers? I do think it's very useful to be inspired by other photographers, to study their techniques. I think that the world that we live in with other portrait photographers, it can be a little challenging because, yes, I think a lot of people's work starts to look like each other's work, but really all that should do is fuel us to get more creative, to look at the greats of photography. Look at old Vogue magazines. Oh my goodness, there's so much inspiration in Italian fashion photographers. Oh my goodness, I just love even just Googling that or looking at that on Pinterest. Amazing photographers from your country. So I think that yes, we should definitely look to other photographers for inspiration, but let's possibly consider looking at the absolute greats and not necessarily the ones in our immediate community. So that way our influences come from elsewhere. And I know for me, I love Pinterest. I'm on Pinterest all day long, and I'm not just looking at other photographers' work. I actually look at a lot of paintings. That'll get you really excited about just different lighting, different colors, different sets, all that. So number 6, boudoir must be sophisticated and not explicit. Do I agree with this statement? I think for my brand, I agree with that statement. I don't know about boudoir in general. Again, I don't see boudoir as like having a very clear definition. And I think as an artist, they should be able to call it whatever they want to call it and do what they want to do. I know for me, I'm a little more conservative. So that kind of really explicit stuff makes me a little bit nervous. Even though it makes me a little bit nervous and it's not right for my brand, I'm not judging other people that are out there making this kind of imagery, right? I think that there's a place for it. I think that it can be beautiful, and I think that it can make a lot of people that want to feel more sensual come alive, right? And some people aren't able to feel sensual, and so maybe this is a way for them to express themselves and kind of tune in with that side of themselves. So again, for my brand, that statement, my brand aligns with that statement. For boudoir in general, I don't know that boudoir has to be sophisticated. I don't think so. If we talk about photography, is the point of view of a man different from the point of view of a woman? Okay. How do Americans see the image of women? Does it change? Well, here's the thing is America is so big. To me, America, I've traveled a lot of the world. To me, America feels like a million countries all within one country. So, you could land in New York City and there would be an overall different opinion of a woman if you landed in Texas. So, but I'm going to say generally speaking, I think that no longer is boudoir for a woman to look attractive to somebody else. Boudoir is now for that woman to feel attractive personally, for herself, to do something for herself. And this is a trend that we are seeing more and more and more and more. Our brand slogan used to be sexiest gift for your husband, or sexiest gift for your partner. That is not our slogan anymore. Our slogan is now be your own supermodel, right? Because we have to feel and love ourselves in order to love others, right? Or in order to gravitate and pull in others that have that healthy self-love for themselves as well. So that's kind of the message that we're pushing these days. As far as men and women in the boudoir industry, I'm not seeing a difference. I think that a lot of the men that get into boudoir photography are very respectful and very much want to celebrate a woman and help her feel comfortable in her own skin. I think that it's an amazing thing, and I just love the direction that this whole photography and the idea of women and the way that we understand a woman's beauty is so much more than skin deep now. It's becoming about the whole package and honoring and loving your temple, like your skin and your brain and your soul and mind. It's a mind-body thing now, and I think that that's just amazing. How important is owning a studio? I guess you mean like a brick and mortar studio that they can go to. I don't know that that's that important anymore. I think that people really are leaning into the lifestyle photos of being photographed maybe in their own environment. I don't think that a studio, it's all about the brand, it's all about how you sell it. So if you travel and you maybe go to people's homes or rent hotels, if you can spin it and pitch that in a beautiful way in your brand, that's what's important. If you have a studio and you love that you have certain sets and they can choose among those sets and you pitch that is the way to go and that's important. It's all the energy and the kind of spin you give it in your marketing. So okay, so now we're on 9. According to your own experience, what's the most efficient social media? Would you choose between Instagram, Facebook, and a blog? I am not awesome with our online presence. I feel like the same as everybody else feels is that I could be doing so much more to just have a stronger online presence. For me, I focus on Instagram. Secondary is Facebook. We used to have a blog a long time ago. I think a blog is really good for SEO. So like if you're trying to make sure that when somebody is Googling about boudoir, they can find articles about boudoir on your blog. I think that that's very important. I don't know, for us right now, everybody's addicted to Instagram. So it's like, that's kind of the way to go, I think, right now in this moment in 2020. All my online courses are in English. If somebody wants to translate them to Italian, I will love you forever and you can have all of my courses for free. I would love to translate them into Italian. That would be, you guys have no idea how happy that would make me. Yes, please help me figure out how to do that. I think I just want to touch on the fact that I think that what we do as boudoir photographers is more powerful and more healing for our clients than we could ever have realized. After doing this for so long, I realize that it is my greatest joy to be able to make a woman feel more comfortable in her skin. And sometimes it's not even about confidence or beauty. Sometimes it's just about an experience where they feel alive and they get to focus on themselves and they get to treat themselves to something beautiful, right? So I just encourage you all. I know being a business owner can be very challenging, and this is being recorded right now during COVID, during the corona pandemic. And it's more challenging right now as business owners than ever before, but I know and I believe that we will come through this, that there is going to be something beautiful on the other side of this. And our job as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as photographers, as artists is not to try to avoid difficulties, not to think that we're never going to get knocked down, because we are. It's just to do your best to stand up afterwards. That's all you can do, is get back on your feet. It might take you a while to get back on your feet. That's okay. That's okay. But just keep trying, you guys. I know for me, in doing this for so long, I know that photography is one of my true loves, because as many challenges as I've faced, I've always come back to it, and I've always had a renewed sense in what I do and why I do it. So if any of you are just having a hard time, or you feel like you're hitting a wall a little bit, I just do encourage you to keep going, keep pressing on, and you will get through it. Promise. All right, well, thank you so much for having me here. It means a lot. I'd love to come back. Let me know if you have any other questions. Bye.
Do you know that more of 90% of people watch videos on YouTube without subscribing? So, if you want to be up to date with every single news about boudoir photography, especially in Italy, subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of new contents ready for you. I really hope that you enjoyed this video with Marissa and see you soon.